tell me that General Muammar Gaddafi of Libya was not a dictator, but a leader who guided and protected these people? Who will tell me that General Idi Amin Dada of Uganda was not a dictator, but a leader who guided and protected these people? The only way to fight unemployment in Africa is to focus on job creating than on job seeking. Youths in Africa should focus on job creating than on job seeking. Because if you seek, you will soon lose a job. But if you create, you will remain with it forever.
And create more employment
for others. The flag of Africa, I'm going to design it. I will make it out of these colors: black, blue, and white.
Why?
White means peace. Blue means there are water bodies in the water, in the continent. And the other color was
black.
Black means we are all dark-skinned people. Maybe apart from some, but almost all Africans are black. Yes.
We're building 25 brand new universities in Africa that are going to cultivate this next generation of African leaders. And each campus will have 10,000 leaders at a time. So we'll be educating and developing 250,000 leaders at any given time. Over the next 50 years, this institution will create 3 million transformative leaders for the continent. My hope is that half of them will become the entrepreneurs that we need, who will create these jobs that we need, and the other half will go into government and non-profit sector, and they'll build the institutions that we need. But they won't just learn academic, they'll also learn how to become leaders, and they'll develop their skills as entrepreneurs. So think of this as Africa's Ivy League. But instead of getting admitted because of your SAT scores, or because of how much money you have, or which family you come from, the main criteria for getting into this university will be, what is your potential that you have for transforming Africa?
So that is why I said, it is high time for Africa to look inward. Look into what is working in different African countries, and then try to adapt that as a style. But we trust people who have been dominating us for 400 years, exploiting our resources with exploitation and racism behaviors, and yet we find it difficult to trust our neighbors. This is the question within the continent. It is high time for us to break the disconnection. These borders mean nothing. Even if I travel to Kenya today, I just recognize brothers and sisters in the streets. If you travel to Liberia today, you recognize brothers and sisters along the streets. So that is what we need to understand, and we build that as a nation.
Today, Singapore is richer than its ex-colonizer, Great Britain. So when I hear people telling me today, oh, Africa is poor because of colonization, I'm like, please, let's move on from that. Does it have maybe a tiny percentage in where we are today? Maybe, and I don't know. But I know it's not the cause. Because if it were, many countless countries have been colonized before. And by the way, colonizing one another is humanity's history. It just happened that maybe Africa has been one of the last, colonized region in the world. So in our psyche, it is there, and it acts like nothing happened before to others. But flash news, it's the history of the world. We've been capturing each other back and forth, all of that. So anyway, but the truth is, Singapore, richer than Great Britain today. And then Hong Kong happened. And then because Hong Kong happened, China even today happened. Because China's like, wait a minute, what went on over there? And then China went on to do the exact same thing with its SEZs, the special economic zones, some of the most free market zones in the world. And then look at it happen in communist China, who, when it comes to economics, decided that we're going to do the free market, we're going to be capitalist, because that's the only way. We tried everything else. We killed hundreds of millions of people, and we have nothing to show for it. But now that we're tired of being disrespected members of society, because guess what? That's the other thing too. You want to be respected in this world, you're going to have to be among the prosperous ones for other reasons. Would it be nice, G, that we respect people just because? Absolutely. But that's really not the world we live in. So when China got tired of being disrespected, they're like, maybe we got to build also some prosperity here, because then they're going to hear us. And today, China, being one of the, being where it is at, even Hollywood, who tries to tell the world how to think, is being told by China, what movies to make and how to tweak stories and history in order to be palatable for them. You see the power that comes with being prosperous.
We will not be surprised by these actions for the youth coming out in the streets each and every day to speak out their voice, saying that they want to take over the African continent. They want to lead Africa. They want to unite Africa. So these kids were among the youths that have been following up each and every day to see and to follow up the statement they are making, the issues, the agendas, their vision they are having in their minds. And all that they are doing is because of they want the best African continent. They want the best Africa that our freedom fighters, our ancestors, our liberators, our revolutionary leaders who are fighting for, the continent that these people died. The greatest African leaders died because of it, because they wanted the best. That's why they were ready, they were even ready to sacrifice their life just to make sure that the best, they build up a African continent. They make African continent a free continent, the African countries, the free states, but not a dictative countries, not a sellout countries.
One of my favorite presidents in the world right now is Ibrahim Traore.
No problem. I agree with you.
And let me tell you why. Because we have lived under quote-unquote a democracy from 1963 up to now. Where we have popularly elected presidents and all that. They are democratically elected, but they hide behind the idea of democracy, but actually end up oppressing their own people. So you have someone like, say, Ibrahim Traore, who is being perceived negatively as a military guy who came through a coup. But nobody is telling us or speaking about what he has done for his country. Just within 2 years, he had cleared the national debt of Burkina Faso. He's told the French, you want our uranium? Buy it at the global market price. Yes. Because before that, the French were giving Burkina Faso 8 euros, imagine, per kilogram.
I want to warn African presidents to stop thinking of themselves as bigger than the people. I want to warn the African presidents. They must look at history as to what has happened to some of the African dictators in the past, who think that by becoming a leader, you are actually the most powerful. You can never be more powerful than the people. Yeah, and true. As you are growing now, in this century that we are growing in, if you don't take my advice seriously, we are going to find your head hanging somewhere.
That's why you see, even up to date, years have passed, but still the history speaks about the freedom fighters like Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, Muammar Gaddafi, Thomas Sankara, because they did their best. So it will be so shameful to see that the African leaders, they are now the one violating everything that was placed there. They are the one now selling out their countries. They are the one now selling out their resources with zero interest to their countries. And that's why you see there is a difference between a leader and a politician. And that's why we always speak about a leader like Capt.Ibrahim Traore, Abdou Chiani, and the other leaders who were in West Africa. The leaders who are not there to submit to any people or anyone or any foreigner. The leaders who are there to work and run their agendas. That they are to chase their dreams and the dreams and the vision they had before they come to the power. And that they are to chase their dreams and the dreams and the vision they had before they come to the power. But the politician, the politicians are the people just who maybe have some money, and for them to and acquire some riches, and for them to protect or to sustain their richness, so they have to come to political issues, to political room. So that's the only place that they will be survival. They'll be safe with everything they acquire, because they don't trust in anyone else. And that's why I remember once upon a time, Pierre Lumumba said that the problem that Africa is doing is that we are electing the worst to lead us, and we expect the best to come out of it, which is very possible.
The time has come that Africa must learn and realize that the world is not bothered about Africa. The world is only bothered about Africa when they want to take the resources of Africa. Then they bother. They want oil, they bother. They bother when they want to take our timber. They bother when they want to take our bauxite, when they want to take our coke, when they want to take our uranium. But they don't bother about us. They come to our continent without disrespecting the elephant, and they want to preserve the elephant so that they can come and watch the elephant, but they don't care if 100 Africans die.
It is very impossible. We cannot be electing the worst leaders, because these are the people who they don't have any interest for the people. They don't have any agenda for the people. They don't have any vision to the people or for the African continent, but they only run their chiefs and achieve their dreams, their agendas, and their visions. So this continent of Africa is all about the young and the youths. The young generation are now the one who are who we believe that they are the one who are capable of leading this continent, of leading these African countries, because the people whom we have been believing in, that they can protect African people, they can protect African riches, they can protect African resources, that the one who are giving out, not knowing that they have a responsibility. They have the people to protect, to work against, or to work upon. So that's why the youth have taken this decision that it's better we fight for this, even if it will take us long, but it's better we fight for it until we achieve and we hold it in our hands. So welcome to my YouTube channel as we discuss our African issues, African matters that are affecting us each and every day. The people who are coming in Africa every day and every time to say that they are coming to help Africa, they say that Africa cannot survive without it or without them. Africa cannot do. Africa is premature. It's not mature enough to govern itself. These are the people who are causing problems in Africa. These are the people who are causing all this crisis, all these issues that are affecting Africa each and every day. And they're doing this knowing that if they do this, if they cause this, if they bring these damages, we Africans will need them. And that's why they are doing all of these things. So my question is, why do the African leaders just sit by themselves, sit down and discuss themselves for their issues, knowing how they can solve their issues without involving some foreign people? Because there's people who are being involved here in African issues. They are the one who have been caused these issues. They are the one who don't want to see an independent Africa. They're the one who don't want to see a progressive Africa. They're the one who don't want to see a united Africa. And yet we as Africans were still involving them in our matters, hoping that we are going to get any result from this. We cannot get from this. You cannot be having an enemy. You fight your enemy and then you need or you expect this enemy to come and solve your issue. Instead, he will just come and add more and more problem in your life. And that is what's being done here in Africa today. Because when we start to go through the history from the beginning or from the beginning of the world, Africa was very well organized. Africa was running well. Before some people came here in Africa, Africa was very good continent, interesting, rich of everything, resources. Africans were well organized, doing their businesses, organized with well kingdoms. People were well lived under the kings and queens until the time the foreign came here, until the ships of missionaries came here in Africa and started to introduce some things which was not for the Africans. That's when the problem started. That's when the issues started consuming Africa, because all that we were believing in as African attires, African talents, African cultures was erased away, and we were introduced and deposited in some things that was not for the Africans. And that's when the problem started being and growing bigger and bigger. And that's why today, up to date, we are still speaking about the African unity. We're still speaking about the African instability, because we are the one who caused this. And I always say that being colonized cannot be the source or cannot be the major problem that we be speaking up to each and every day, that because we are colonized, and that's why we cannot do this. No.
Today, Singapore is richer than its ex-colonizer, Great Britain. So when I hear people telling me today, oh, Africa is poor because of colonization, I'm like, please, let's move on from that. Does it have maybe a tiny percentage in where we are today? Maybe, and I don't know. But I know it's not the cause. Because if it were, many countless countries have been colonized before. And by the way, colonizing one another is humanity's history. It just happened that maybe Africa has been one of the last, colonized region in the world. So in our psyche, it is there, and it acts like nothing happened before to others. But flash news, it's the history of the world. We've been capturing each other back and forth, all of that. So anyway, but the truth is, Singapore, richer than Great Britain today. And then Hong Kong happened. And then because Hong Kong happened, China even today happened.
There are many countries who are colonized. China, Russia, India, America, they were all colonized. But where are they today? Why have they grown up highly in economy, in everything, in governance? A country, when you go to a country like Asia, China, China, India, these countries were colonized. But after the colonization, after they gained their independence, they decided to sit down, organize themselves, and start doing things upon themselves, among themselves, without involving any people. They never give opportunity or chance of any access to in their countries for the foreigners. When you go to country of Arab Emirates countries, these people were colonized. Some of them were colonized, but since the time they gained their independence, they never gave out any chance to the foreign people so that they can continue coming to access their countries. They continue looting their countries. Today, when we speak about the growth country, we speak about the Asian countries, the Arab Emirate countries, because they believed in themselves. They organized themselves. They decided they want to do things among themselves without involving some people. And that's why you see the people or the citizens of this country are benefiting highly from the resources they have in their countries. Arab Emirate countries, they're the one now selling out oil to the world, and each and every citizen is benefiting from this country. And this is what was happening in the country like Libya during the reign of Muammar Gaddafi. Every citizen was benefiting from the oil. Education system was free from nursery to university. Every citizen had the house that was built by the government. So people were well lived. People were all enjoying the life of the leadership of Muammar Gaddafi. And during the time of the West were coming in to assassinate Muammar Gaddafi, they were all already created some false information against Muammar Gaddafi. They were already convinced, people of Libya, that Muammar Gaddafi was a leader of terrorists. And so Muammar Gaddafi owns a mass destructive weapons. So that time when they were coming in Africa or in Libya to take down Muammar Gaddafi, the people of Libya, the people of Africans were just watching, having nothing to do with that issue, having nothing to address, and no one was ready to go and interfere that process, and no one was ready to go and associate himself to that issue. And that's why this leader was taken down easily. Until this time, that's when the people of Libya realized that they lost the leader. They lost the true leader, a true leader who was there for their interests, for their own benefit, but not for him. So the leaders that we are having today in Africa, they are not for the Africans, and that's why they cannot do things of our own will. They have to submit to the foreigners because they were installed there. They are just like a project, and that's why we today believe in African youth, because we are the African youth are the one carrying the visions of Africa. Africa has been looted, has been exploited for a very long time. And because it never had the best leader of the current generation who can just come out and resist, say that all that was happened to Africa is enough, and now it's time Africa stand by itself, do things on itself. And that's why you see all problems that are affecting Africa today. There's no one who can come and help, no one can come and solve. When go see the situation of Sudan, go see the situation of Congo. Congo had the great leader Patrice Lumumba, who fight best, did his best, even paid his life just to fight for that country, freedom. But at this time, the leaders who are there are just there as the agents or informer, just to represent the foreign powers, because they're the one owning that country, controlling everything and the resources that are coming out of this country. So I'm so afraid, and sometimes I wonder which kind of the leaders that we are having today in Africa, who don't even bother about the people that are in Africa, who don't even care about the life of the people that we are having today in Africa, on which situation they're passing through. We have today a large number of refugees who are coming in from different countries of Africa. They all started by the foreign powers. They're the one who have caused this, because before they came here in Africa, we had nothing like refugees, and today we have a large number of refugees. We had a large lands of refugee camps, and all this has created just to make sure that Africa has no peace. Africa is not does not have a security stability. They all cause this, knowing that when things or situation looks like this, then they will have enough time to access, sneak in Africa, take everything they have been used to take them to their countries, to build up their countries, and at the same time they come to expose Africa as a poorest continent.
But I want to tell you today, Africa has the resources, the ability, and the people to grow into an economic superpower. It is the richest continent already in terms of natural resources. 30% of the world's cobalt, diamonds, gold, and iron are in Africa. Africa also has huge wealth in oil. Nigeria produces more than 2.5 million barrels of oil per day. On the global market, one barrel is worth around $52. Nigeria's oil is worth a lot.
So it is time for the youth to come out. It is time now for the youth to come and continue the journey where our freedom fighters left. They had the vision. They had the vision to build up Africa, to reclaim all African dignity that was taken away from it, to reclaim everything that was stolen from Africa. They had the vision. They were speaking about the unity, and that is the greatest crime they committed, which cost their life. So I always say that Muammar Gaddafi, Patrice Lumumba, Kwame Nkrumah, they cannot rest in peace when they see the situation of Africa. They cannot rest in peace when they see the Africa that they were fighting for, which caused their death. It's now looking as it's looking today.
Who told you that Kwame Nkrumah rested in peace? Who told you that Captain Thomas Sankara rested in peace? They can't all rest in peace until Africa is united.
So you mean they...
And we have the African leaders who are there, not ready to go back to the history and know what happened. And they know everything that happened, but they pretend of not knowing. And that's why today I always come up with ideas of young generation, the youths who have the visions to build up and do something that some people many years ago started or had the vision of doing it, and they're ready to do it this time. So we surrender everything to the youth, because they have discovered who they are, they know what they want, and they know where they want to be. So it is a time not know, and this time is just for today, but not tomorrow. And through this kind of visions, through this kind of strength, then we believe that all is going to be well, and everything, all message that was created, we're going to rectify and do everything as it is needed to be done. I'll not take much of your time. This is Ken Sora, presenter here. If this is the first time to visit this channel, kindly subscribe. Let's speak in the comment section and know what's really happening. I'm here to respond to any question that pops in my comment section, because I'm doing this for you. I can't do this for myself. I'm doing this for you. And if you appreciate it, then I have to do it more and more. So until next time, we come and speak more about Africa and African community, all that is causing or consuming our African continent will come and discuss. Until next time we come, stay tuned and maybe well.